I guess we could start off before getting to the professional aspect, focusing on your starting in Pakistan and then how you journeyed to Canada. Do you mind just giving him more details on your relation to Pakistan? Were you brought up in Pakistan or brought up in Canada? Just giving more details on that.
I was born in Karachi. I was about a week old when I was moved out back to Saudi, where my parents were based out of. My mother, especially, spent a lot of time in terms of giving me education in reference to reading and writing Urdu, for example, the history of Pakistan, and so forth. Both parents are fairly patriotic. We'd also go back for at least the summer holidays, if not more frequently. There was obviously that connection, and then obviously I still have relatives over there back home. We stay connected almost on a, I would say, day-to-day basis.
Okay, and when did you go to? Was it like during your high school period, university, or was it like even younger to
Yeah,
Canada?
yeah, it was definitely in my middle school. That's when I moved here, way before university.
Yeah, it's the same for me as well. So, how did you find the transition from Pakistan or slash Saudi to middle school? Because I know middle school, for at least for me, was very challenging in terms
Yeah,
of the social aspect and whatnot.
I'd say it was the same experience as
Yeah.
being frank with you. Thankfully, Canada, I would say it's a very polite country, and my experience was very unique compared to what people see today. So I still remember when I moved into the middle school, there was about 8 people who were non-Caucasian. It was we were just you could count us on the fingers, very far and few. But again, we had a very decent experience growing up in school. Our teachers, I would say classmates, everybody was very welcoming. So it was quite good in that sense. Another benefit I guess I had was because I stayed out of Pakistan and being in Saudi, my first years were spent at an American school there. What turned out to happen was moving here wasn't quite a big transition just because you had the same education school wise. You had a very similar fashion, I would say, an approach from teachers, the way they taught you and the way the school system was set up. So it
Mhm.
wasn't that big a transition. But naturally, being away from Pakistan, being away from Saudi for that matter, was quite something. I also find something interesting that people in Pakistan versus people that I see here in Canada, I often find that the Pakistani background people are in fact more Pakistani than the people who stayed back in Pakistan. And I
Mhm.
think that tends to happen because as you move away from your motherland, you do want to stay somehow connected with the roots. You want to stay connected to the culture, the traditions. So I think people try and make a bigger effort on doing so here than obviously people who stay in Pakistan.
Yeah, because like you mentioned, it's a lot harder to just like to maintain it sometimes, and then just
Mhm.
being able to. I think so. You're more self-aware. I guess that's what
Exactly.
happens.
Exactly. Plus, I always tell people that no matter where you go, you're always going to be a representation of your
Yeah.
background. I would say the upbringing you've had at home, your family, anything that you've been connected with. So you'll always be representing that, and I think that then obviously adds a little bit more weight in reference to the actions you're going to plan and take. Yeah, I think it worked out well for us.